Welcome to our channel. We are sincerely trying to choose interesting stories, so we would really like to see your subscription. While waiting in line to order lunch with Luke, I pondered the wisdom of these secret rendezvous we recently started. We made a habit of leaving separately to avoid workplace gossip. The barista, an elderly man, surprisingly addressed me by name, asking about my plans for the day. Oddly, he seemed to know me, though we hadn't met before. I ordered my meal, and Luke, displaying a casual attitude, chose something for himself. Suddenly, he claimed to have forgotten his wallet, but I assured him I could handle it. Curiously, I wondered how the barista knew my name without any prior acquaintance. Luke chuckled at the situation, finding it strange that an older man worked in a coffee shop. After securing our lunch, I searched for Luke, and he had already found a table. While having lunch with my partner, I couldn't help but be captivated by his good looks. 7 years my junior, and standing at 6'2", he was undeniably attractive. Despite being happily married with a 9-year-old daughter, I enjoyed the attention. Luke, a real estate agent working with us for the past year, had been pursuing me since a Christmas party last year. Although nothing untoward had happened, I allowed him to kiss my cheek a few times, savoring the compliments he showered on me. Over the past 5 weeks, we had started having lunch together twice a week. However, things took a surprising turn during our last lunch when he kissed me on the lips for the first time. It felt wrong, but strangely right. Afterward, I hesitated but eventually agreed to have lunch again, given his promises to behave. As we chatted about work and the upcoming Christmas party, I realized he must have been drinking my drink, labeled with my name and cute angel wings. Just as I was about to mention heading back to the office, I felt his hand on my knee, prompting me to hastily leave. Concerned about the Christmas party where my husband Tyler would be present, I felt uneasy, knowing Tyler and Luke would be in the same space. Back at the office, I decided to share my concerns about Luke with Tyler. A former coworker, Penny, had alerted me to Luke's inappropriate behavior. Penny, a single mother who previously worked at my law office, informed Tyler about Luke's behavior and sought his advice. Tyler assured her he would address any harassment issues. Penny then disclosed everything she had observed, shedding light on the situation between Luke and me. I felt indebted to her, like I owed her something significant. I resolved to gather information about my adversary, his appearance, the car he drove, and more. It was 3 days before Christmas, and I had a party planned for that night. On Saturday morning, after a restless night, I met my mother, taking my daughter along. We indulged in manicures and pedicures, Tyler, always conscious of his physical fitness, headed to the gym. Occasionally, I joined him, finding it arousing to watch him work with a punching bag. As I approached 40, I started feeling less desirable, and our sexual life had changed, though we still made love regularly. Tyler, a considerate lover and provider, often asked about my Christmas wishes. A strange question about my wish for this year left me uneasy. Despite his attentive care, something troubled me, disrupting my sleep. After my daughter left, I picked up the expensive watch I had chosen for Tyler from the jewelry store. He admired it last summer but wouldn't buy it for himself. Prepared for the party, I rested on the bed in my red dress, waiting for Tyler. I took a nap to feel fresh for the evening. Awakening to the sound of running water, I sneaked into the bathroom as Tyler finished showering. Seeing my husband drying off, he greeted me and suggested we playfully get ready for the party. In separate rooms, we continued our preparations. As I applied makeup, I contemplated my desirability, maintaining my physique and blonde hair, yet noticing signs of aging. Tyler assured me of my beauty, but doubts lingered, wondering if a younger model could capture his attention. Choosing a black beret and thong, I considered Tyler's admiration for my legs and opted against stockings. These thoughts swirled in my mind as we readied ourselves for the evening's festivities. I wore a knee-flaring red dress, off the shoulder, revealing a modest cleavage. Tyler, dressed impeccably in a black suit, white shirt, and a turquoise tie, complimented my appearance as we headed to the party. Opting for a sober drive, Tyler, our little girl, and I exchanged goodnight wishes during the ride to the downtown Holiday Inn. Upon arriving, Tyler in his black stilettos embraced me, and we shared a deep kiss. In his company, we encountered colleagues from various real estate agencies at the bar. After introducing Tyler to friends and engaging in conversation, we found a free table. Not spotting Luke until now seemed advantageous. Seated, we enjoyed drinks, conversed with a charming older couple, and later took to the dance floor, returning after 3 songs. As Tyler excused himself for another drink, I chatted with the delightful couple and my boss. Tyler rejoined with more wine for me and ginger ale for himself. After chatting with my boss, I found Penny conversing with Tyler. Returning to the table, Tyler stood up, pulling out a chair for me. Penny complimented my dress before leaving. Curious about her calling Tyler by his first name, I noticed Luke dancing with an unfamiliar woman. Seizing the opportunity, another gentleman invited me to dance. Gaining Tyler's nod of approval, as I danced, I noticed Luke inviting me to the bar, and we shared rum and eggnog, toasting to the holidays. He then suggested we dance, leading to a slow dance under the mistletoe. Meanwhile, my husband observed, thinking I was dancing with someone else. Seeing them at the bar, I contemplated intervening when Penny invited me to dance. Dancing with her, I watched my husband dance with Penny under the mistletoe, culminating in an unexpected kiss. It could have been just a friendly kiss on the cheek, but from where I sat, it looked like she kissed him on the lips. Shortly after, another man approached Penny, inviting her to dance, and she left Tyler. Returning to our table, Tyler sat down, reaching for my hand. I withdrew my hand, looked him in the eyes, and questioned what had just happened. Luckily, there was no one else at the table to hear Caitlin's remark. I suggested that maybe we should go home to talk, but Tyler insisted on staying and having another drink. Disagreeing, I went to the bar alone and ordered another glass of wine. Spotting Luke dancing with someone else, I intervened, and after a brief conversation, we ended up outside for some fresh air. Against my initial thoughts of going back upstairs, I found myself giggling and leaning against Loki's SUV. Things took an unexpected turn when we ended up in the back seat, and for the first time since meeting my husband, I was involved with another man. Suddenly, the door swung open, my head fell back, and I was staring into Tyler's eyes. He punched Luke in the nose, blood gushed out, and without a word, Tyler left. I pushed Luke away, trying to get out from under him, but Tyler had already driven off. Desperate and sobbing, I realized I had ruined my life with one impulsive act. I decided I needed to go home and fix things, walking up the ramp into the cold night. I noticed a taxi parked in front of the hotel, and to my surprise, the old man from the coffee shop was the driver. In the back seat, I cried, attempting to reach Tyler, but his phone was off. I sent him apologetic messages, expressing my love. The old man, who called himself Guardian, offered his sympathy and said he would pray for a Christmas miracle for me. We drove in silence through the dark winter night, illuminated only by the headlights breaking through the falling snowflakes. As tears streamed down my face, we approached what used to be my joyful residence. Seeing no footprints in the driveway, and darkness inside, my heart sank. Tyler wasn't there. Puzzled, I asked the taxi driver about the fare. Searching my phone for any message from Tyler, I then realized I didn't have any money with me. "I'm sorry, I can't pay you right now. Can I quickly go inside to get my wallet?" I sobbed, feeling foolish. The driver, Mrs. Caitlin, reassured me, urging me to handle things. I made a promise to return soon. Exiting the taxi, I struggled with my heels in the snow, nearly slipping. Inside, it was as if time had stood still since we left. Retrieving money from my purse, I rushed back to settle the fare. But by the time I returned to the door, the taxi had vanished in the snowfall, erasing our tracks. Inside, I dialed Tyler multiple times, but his phone was off. Anxiety consumed me. Was he gone for good? The worsening weather heightened my concern for his safety. I hesitated to call my mother at this late hour, dreading the explanation about Tyler's absence. If he didn't return by morning, I resolved to contact our daughter before reaching out to my mom. Wanting to rid myself of the memories from earlier, I headed upstairs for a shower. Every piece of clothing felt like a weight, reminding me of the evening's events. Overwhelmed, I rushed to the bathroom, feeling nauseated. The shower's water couldn't wash away the guilt and regret. After drying off and changing, sleep was elusive. My mind replayed the evening's events, each moment intensifying my feelings of remorse and guilt. At some point, I must have drifted to sleep because the next thing I heard was the sound of running water. I wondered, "What's this?" as Tyler was taking a shower. Startled, I stood up and quietly approached the bathroom just as the water turned off. Tyler stepped out of the shower, towel in hand, and greeted me with, "Hey, Sleeping Beauty. I didn't mean to disturb you. It's a pity we won't have time to have a little fun before the Christmas party." Stunned, I tried to comprehend what was happening. He pulled me into his arms, kissing me passionately and playfully remarked about my outfit for the party. I remained in a state of disbelief, questioning if I had dreamt it all. Tyler, grabbing his things, left to change. Still trying to process the situation, I went to the bathroom to apply makeup. Was this a dream, or was I dreaming now? In an attempt to confirm, I checked the laundry basket, finding nothing there. I opened my dresser drawer, and the black thong and matching bra were neatly placed inside. Opting for white lace panties and a bra, I adorned a little red dress, curled my hair, and grabbed a pair of red high heels before heading downstairs to meet Tyler. Tyler, now dressed stunningly in a black suit with a turquoise blue tie, complimented my appearance. Overwhelmed, I began crying, and Tyler, concerned, embraced me, asking what happened. Tearfully, I pleaded, "Oh, Tyler, please don't ever let me go. I love you so much." I looked into his eyes and asked if we really had to go to the Christmas party. Trying to comfort me, Tyler suggested an alternative plan, going to a nice restaurant to talk. Walking me to the car, he reassured me while snow began to fall. As I looked at the sparkling night sky, I wondered if my guardian angel had granted my Christmas wish for a second chance. Tyler took me to the city's Lula Lounge, a place we hadn't visited in a long time. The dining area had private booths, and there was a piano bar with a small dance floor. At the bar, we enjoyed a glass of wine while waiting for a table. Finally, I mustered the courage to share something important with Tyler. He listened attentively as I confessed about a guy at work who had a crush on me. I admitted to going to lunch with him, where we talked and flirted, although nothing more happened. Tyler questioned my feelings about being flattered, and I reluctantly confessed that he had kissed me, expressing deep regret. I pleaded for Tyler's forgiveness and offered to resign from my job to focus on restoring our relationship and being the wife he deserved. The pianist started playing, and Tyler stood, inviting me to dance. Initially, it was just the two of us on the dance floor, and later, another couple joined. Resting my head on Tyler's chest, tears flowed, yet he simply held me close. After the song ended, he wiped away my tears, and we returned to the bar. Swiftly, we were escorted to a private booth at the back of the restaurant. Though not very hungry, we shared butternut squash in a creamy wine sauce and smoked salmon with a creamy dill sauce and capers. While I picked at my food, Tyler delved into work, holidays, and our daughter, skillfully avoiding the earlier conversation. It felt like a fairy tale. How did I end up in this moment with my husband, avoiding the dreadful mistake with Luke at the Christmas party? After dinner, we headed home, the atmosphere silent, but accompanied by music. I hesitated to bring up the earlier topic at home, offering Tyler another drink. As he accepted, sitting in the living room, we exchanged glances. Tyler broke the silence, acknowledging awareness of the situation at my workplace. Grateful for my honesty, he expressed relief that it was out in the open. Regarding my previous question, he suggested that staying at home for the near future might be beneficial, akin to when we brought our daughter home. He encouraged me to take as much time as needed, steering away from further discussion on the matter. Instead, he proposed a joyful Christmas, picking up our daughter the next day for breakfast, decorating a real tree, and squeezing in some Christmas shopping. Overwhelmed, I expressed that it sounded like the best Christmas present ever, conveying my love for him. We concluded the evening with a plan for a Merry Christmas.